नमस्ते एवरीवन, गुड मॉर्निंग, गुड इवनिंग, जहाँ से भी आप देख रहे हैं. Welcome to another episode of Narad News. Today we are going to discuss uh, just one topic, quick. Actually, when I was looking for topics yesterday, I wasn't finding anything too interesting. It's the usual political stuff that's been happening, right? Nothing that's not already been discussed, one, by many other YouTube channels, two, by us as well. So in my previous live on Narad News, I actually discussed on what Canada's options are vis-a-vis whatever US is up to these days. Now, yesterday I did a live with my friend JD, and we co-streamed that one on Narad News and Spicy Spectrum podcast. So please go watch that as well. And in that we discussed, quick 3-4 topics which are more current. Um, I I was trying to find something where it will relate to Canadian people more directly. And let's get a little bit of a break from all the upheavals that we are seeing, right? Because we are bombarded by this in our news feed the whole day. Whether you like it or not, apps will catch on to your usage patterns. Maybe you subscribe to a news portal or whatever, right? So I just thought, okay, let's take a break. Let's discuss something more relevant to everyday life, and then let's look at what, if there is anything we could do to improve the situation. So chalo, let's get into it. This will be a quick one. It won't be too long. I'm gonna try and keep it under 30 minutes so that you guys could go ahead and do whatever you need to do for the rest of the evening, or fall asleep if you're on the East Coast, or if you're in India, get to work on time and start start doing your things for the day. So chalo, let's get into this. Actually, let me see. Have I even set this up correctly? Allow. Okay, I'll have to fix this up a bit, but let me pull this up for everyone. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Okay, perfect. So this is an article that I found yesterday on Toronto Sun, and I think, yeah, this came out on January 4th. So it's not the latest cookie, but I think it's very relevant because I think, especially over since you could call it. Let me adjust this slightly better. Yeah, okay. Guys, how does this look? Okay. So it's not just you. Why car prices have risen so sharply post-pandemic. So if everyone remembers, post the pandemic, we suddenly saw a massive increase in car prices, right? And that was primarily because of supply chain issues. Chips out of China, huge shortfall, production couldn't keep up, whatever those reasons were. China was under COVID lockdowns, so of course it wasn't easy to manufacture the chips at the scale that are needed to satisfy today's demands. So we faced a shortage. We literally saw used cars being sold at prices which are, well, what you could call basically um, new car prices, right? So this one came out just this year, a week or so back. So I said, okay, I'm also looking to maybe buy a new car. मतलब मेरी बहुत पुरानी हो गई है. My car is now like 11 years old. It's still doing its job, but I wouldn't mind having a new vehicle just because I'm kind of like, okay, let's change it up a bit, right? But then as soon as I go onto these websites, I'm like, acha chalo, let's look for a new car. The monthly payment comes up to be a ridiculous amount, and I'm like, this is bullshit. Yeah, it's literally bullshit. So let's go over this article and then I will go over some quote unquote live examples. So let's see. Tariffs, the impact of COVID 19 on supply chains and broader inflationary pressures have all driven vehicle prices higher, says one expert. Okay, let's see who the expert is. Shopping for a car used to be an exciting occasion, but for some buyers, excitement is getting priced out of the market as they have to dig much deeper to afford it. Yeah, I can safely say I'm one of those people. The excitement is all around. Yeah, इतना महंगा हो गया है. How bloody expensive has it gotten? I just laugh at the prices, right? Like, because at some point everything has gotten ridiculously expensive, and it's like, okay, fine, you can't keep getting sad at anything, so might as well laugh about it. So yeah, this sentence actually captures my emotion very well. So actually that's why one of the other reasons I really like this article. Just chalo, let's go. Auto Trader put the average cost of a new car at 63 in the third quarter last year, with a used at 36,911. Okay, now this is where I want to start doing some live calculations and math with you guys, right? So I'm going to quickly bring up a calculator. Let's see if it shows up. It won't show up. Okay, let's see something. If I move this out of the way, and then I minimize this, and then I minimize that. Now what I can do is I can, oh, sorry, wrong button guys. एक सेकेंड दो मेरे को यार. Let's see something. Secondary display में, oh chalo, it got onto the right one then. Okay, cool. So let me pull up the calculator. एक minute guys. Yeah, I'm just learning myself. So let's do this, right? When I bought my car in 2014, now mind you, this was in the US, so not the best example, but that time, 2014, around the time I bought the car, I looked up the exchange rate. September 2014, we were at about 1.09 CAD to $1. Okay. And at that time, I bought my car for 22,500 USD, inclusive of all taxes in the state of Oklahoma. Right. And I had gotten a $2,500 discount. So let's say I bought full price. ठीक है, मैं full price लेता हूँ 25,000 USD. So I convert that to 1.09, 27,250. Okay, that is the Canadian dollar price in 2014 of my car, which is a 2014 Hyundai Sonata GLS. I don't even think they produce the GLS anymore, but basically speaking, it's one of the more economical models. It's a regular sedan. आपको सड़कों पे सैकड़ों मिल जाएंगी, और अगर आपको वो नहीं दिख रही हैं तो प्लीज़ या तो आप बहुत अमीर हैं या आप गाड़ियों पर ज़्यादा ध्यान नहीं देते हैं. तो now let's go. And again, this is not, I'm not sponsored by Hyundai, or I'm not against Hyundai. I actually love Hyundai. The thing is, I have the most experience with Hyundai cars, and that's why I'm just going to use them as a benchmark. So let's just go to their website. This is Hyundai Canada. I've made sure we're going on the Canadian one. I'll just go to British Columbia because that's where I live. Yeah, I just need a Vancouver zip code. So ये लो, चलो ठीक है, Vancouver. Okay, हो गया. Right. Let's just go to all vehicles, and I will go to sedan because that's what we have. Sonata, let's go, because the one I have is basic with like a small package on top of it. There's nothing that big, right? So let's go into this one. I'll go with Sonata 2026 because we are in 2026. So let's You know what? Okay, we can actually just use this as the base price, right? I'm gonna say build. नो अबे यार मुझे ये सब थोड़ी चाहिए. प्रिफर्ड ट्रेंड हाइब्रिड, हाँ ठीक है, चल निकल यहाँ से. हाँ. So if I were to, let's go next. I don't want to change anything. I'm going to keep this bare bones, right? Let's come down over here and I'll go to monthly, because monthly is what everyone is used to seeing when they make a payment. You make a payment monthly. Mortgage आप monthly देते हो, rent आप monthly देते हो, car का भी payment आप monthly करते हो. So monthly. Now I will go down to what loan I had on my car, which was I financed it for 60 months. I had zero down payment because I couldn't afford anything. My first car out of college. And here we go. 746.32 CAD monthly for this car, right? Now total I'm going to pay is 39,462. That is not a fair comparison because the 22,500 was what that was a sticker price. That was not including the interest. But let's see, the base price is 39,212, right? Today's exchange rate vis-a-vis the US is, let's do that as well. Let's take a look. USD to CAD 1.39, right? We're sitting at 1.39. तो चलो यहीं पे यूज कर लेते हैं ना. 39,212, right? So today a base Sonata costs about 28,259.68 US dollars. So this is about 29,000 USD. Okay. Now let's say you add on some packages or something, like, because I have one modernization package in my car which cost me $2,500. So I'm going to add 2,500 to this. So अभी मैं इसमें roughly एक add कर देता हूँ. 28,000, bear with me guys. So 28,000 times or times क्या, चलो 2500, right? So 30,500, right? Now this is the price in USD. Base price in USD, no taxes, nothing. Base price USD, right? Let's add, this has the taxes. That's good actually, because I paid, okay, there was no, with title, okay, yeah. So this is perfect. So with inclusive of all taxes, if I were to add and then convert to CAD and S, we are at 30,500 USD. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this number back to today's Canadian dollar. 1.39 se divide times karke I will get to it. Okay. So 1.39, yeah, jata aapka 42,000, 43,000, right? So we go from, roughly speaking, 25,000 to 31,000 in about 11 years, right? Gaadi ka price. So I will do a quick, guys, if you haven't used Excel, मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ. Excel पे आपको एक अच्छा सा डेमो देता हूँ. Actually अभी छोड़ो यार, Excel भी छोड़ो. So I want to do 31,000 minus, let's say 25,000, जो मेरा USD में प्राइस था कार का. 6,000 over 25. So about 24%, 25% प्राइस ऊपर गया है USD में गाड़ी का. ठीक है. अब अगर मैं 25,000 को 1.0 times करता हूँ 1.09 से, because this was the exchange rate in 2014 for my car, which is at 27,250, which is the number we kind of started this exercise with. अब ये CAD में 27,250 है और आज का प्राइस है 39,212. तो हम देखते हैं, सो 39,212 minus 27,250, राइट, कुछ ऐसे ही था. ओके, 11,962 based on 27,250, 44% increase. So the same car is costing, roughly speaking, the same car is costing 24% more in US than and the same car in Canada is costing 44% more. Okay, these numbers are not exact, roughly speaking, mota mota, but ठीक है, आप 40% भी ले लो. So the differential between 24 and 40 becomes 16%. 16% ज़्यादा कनाडा में so called price appreciation हुआ है. Now I think everyone knows at this point where I'm going with this, right? It's not just the fact that it's not just that it got more expensive in Canada, it's also because our currency lost a lot of value, right? We went from 1.09 to 1.39, right? So 19, 20, 30 cents depreciation over the past 11 years, roughly speaking, 12 years in fact. So this is where we should now reflect more. See, why does a currency lose value like this? It's because the trust in the country goes down. Canada is not an export country, so this bullshit that we should depreciate our currency so that we become more competitive on the market. The only goddamn market we export to is the US. Okay? We don't really sell anything to anyone else because our administration actively destroyed all other forms of economy. मतलब US के साथ deal है, चलती रहेगी, you know? So here what I've tried to do in this sort of quick back of the envelope calculation is to show you in real time what has happened to our cost of living versus the US, right? Let's look at one more graph, which I have, one more chart, and that would make चलो ये वाला निकालते हैं. ये रहा GDP per capita. Okay, 2014, back again when I was purchasing the car, right? GDP per capita was, ये US dollars में है, so if anyone has any confusion, US dollars में है 50,961, right? So we started with 50,961 in 2014, roughly around the same time when I bought the car. So that comes up to 56,000 Canadian dollars. ये था हमारा per capita GDP. Okay. Fast forward to latest data, which is quite shocking. Like, I mean, it's down, so it's 54,340 US dollars, right? So now US dollars may, we are, maybe I can just do M plus, it'll stay, okay, cool. Now I will say, okay, 54,340. So I'll just take 54,340. This is US dollars, so 1.39. 75,532, right? So minus, and then memory recall, oh, okay, I screwed that up. So let's say 75,500 is per capita GDP today. Chalo, get out then. Okay. So 75,000, मैं लिख लेता हूँ कहीं पे. Actually, why not? Okay. Yeah. So 75,500. And then let's quickly go back to 2014 because I forgot that number. So 50,961 star 1.09, 55,550, 55,000, right? Roughly ये number है, right? अब हम देखते हैं कैनेडियन डॉलर में हमारी तनख्वाह कितनी अप्रिशिएट हुई है पर कैपिटा जीडीपी के हिसाब से. 75,500 माइनस 55,550, so मतलब 55,550 over 55,550, 55,550. So per capita GDP in Canadian dollars over the past 12 years has gone up 36%. This is simple calculation. This is not compounded, but this is simple calculation. But over that time, now 1.09 to 1.39. That's what the exchange rate was in 2014, 1.09. Today it's 1.39. So 30 cents हमारा dollar depreciate हुआ है. So if you do a quick math on that, यार ये तो फंस गए memory recall के चक्कर में. So 0.3 over where we started, which was 1.09, our dollar has lost 28% of its value. Right? Now you may ask, Abhi, what does it have to do with the car getting more expensive? Well, please understand, we don't necessarily make these cars in Canada. We make, so for instance, Hyundai, their assembly plant for North America is in Montgomery, Alabama. Right? Now, given that the US dollar stays constant as the global reserve currency and we lose 28% of our value and then we get 25% tariffs, then overall, that's why we see the car getting so much more expensive. The car in that same car in Canada is 44% more expensive than it was 12 years ago. In the US, it's 24% more expensive. Now, how do you fix this? Right? Because clearly, in Canadian dollar terms, GDP per capita has actually done fairly well. But again, if I put, if I use this, if I calculate the same number in USD, so 50,961, and then we are up to where? Sorry, 54,340, right? So 54,340 minus, I think 50,961, right? अबे यार ये तो गलत हो गया. Okay, let's do this. 54,341 minus, let's do 50,961, 3,380. 3,380 appreciation of GDP per capita in 12 goddamn years, which is 50,961. 6 point, I mean, अगर किसी को समझ में नहीं आ रहा, right? So 6.6% increase in GDP per capita in 12 years. You know, we keep hearing the term lost decade, lost decade. This is what that lost decade is. Let that sink in for everyone. This is in numbers what that lost decade is. 6.6% appreciation of GDP per capita, which is roughly speaking wage, over 12 years. And that's why, you know, let's do one more calculation, right? We saw that the same car costs 24% more in the US, right? Now, let me see. मैं try करता हूँ क्योंकि your Hyundai Sonata is costing you 39,212 Canadian dollars in British Columbia today. Base, right? Let me see if it'll let me go to Hyundai US. Okay, so there we go. We can. You know, I'll just put some US zip code. यार मुझे कोई US zip code दो ना. एक मिनट, मैं देख के बोलता हूँ. So let me see. Empire State Building. पे यार अच्छा चल ठीक है यार. ओके, मैं कोई सियाटल का जिप कोड ढूंढता हूँ अब. बट क्यों नहीं दिखा रहा? ओवरव्यू. अब हिस्टोरिकल लैंडमार्क 101 ओके. ये एम्पायर स्टेट बिल्डिंग का जिप कोड है. सो 10001. ओके, आई जस्ट पुट समथिंग. ठीक है, ये यूएस का जिप कोड है. नाउ आई विल गो. एक तो वेबसाइट ही देख लो यार, कितनी. सोनाटा गैस एंड हाइब्रिड. ठीक है, so they have 2025. Is there a 2026 option? Oh, looks like they don't have a 2026. Or did I just press the wrong? Huh. Acha. So it looks like US में you only have 2025 Sonata. They don't have 2026. Acha, hybrid is the only one in 2026. Okay, I'm just gonna go pure gas because my car is pure gas and that's our base, right? ये 26,900 की है. अगर आप 2,500 को 24% बढ़ा भी दो, just because we did that, so 2,500 का जो एड ऑन पैकेज है आप उसको 24% बढ़ा दो 3,100, और इसमें आप बेस प्राइस में उसे ऐड कर दो, मान लो दैट इज 30,000. ये गाड़ी यूएस में आज 30,000 यूएसडी में मिल रही है. वही गाड़ी जो इसके लिए मैंने let's say 25,000 दिए थे. So 25,000 when I gave that 12 years ago divided by, in simple numbers, but 20%. ये गाड़ी यूएस में 20% महंगी हुई है, whereas कनाडा में 40% महंगी हुई है. Right? The moral of this story is free lunch नहीं होता है. There is nothing like a free lunch. You will pay for it somehow, somewhere, someday. There is no you know. ओहो, फिर बफर हो गया. My goodness. You know, there is no easy way out. You have to innovate, you have to manufacture, you have to have a competitive environment for your businesses so that people can have cheaper things, right? Thankfully, Canadian cities have what I could call decent public transport systems. Yes, if there are any Europeans watching this, you will find this statement to be abhorrent, and I would agree. But again, you live in a city like Vancouver, not such a big area, fine. The public transport here is not bad. Toronto, same thing. It's not bad, it's manageable. Right? This is what happens when policy is made more on ideology than on economics. The minute you let policy be driven by ideology, by fluff metrics rather than real numbers, you see the impact, and 12 years is actually not a big timeline. You see the impact pretty quickly. These calculations that I've done today, these are the very basis on why we are, why Canada has lost respect globally, right? I won't get into the socio issues today because one, we have discussed that a lot. But the second thing is that all that won't change overnight anyway. Not that anything I'm saying today will change overnight, but I think enough has been said about it. Enough has been demonstrated by not just Narad News but other channels that please wake up, smell the coffee, and hear if there is anyone who ever ends up seeing. Here are just some back of the envelope numbers which are saying that, okay, this is why standard of living in Canada has deteriorated, right? Because in our currency, it has gone up significantly, but that's primarily because it has depreciated so much. I strongly believe that strong countries have strong currencies. The classic economic argument is you can export more if your currency is depreciated. To some extent, that's true. But I don't see Europe having any problem exporting their goods. People pay the premium in Europe. I don't see US having any issues exporting their expensive, quote unquote, expensive goods because their currency is so strong. No, people buy it. People pay the premium. Be it their defense equipment, be it their airplanes, be it their cars, people pay. Or US companies go set up plants elsewhere in the world so that they can cater to those markets. Canada doesn't even have a company like that to talk about. We used to have Bombardier. They sold their bloody, from what I heard here, please correct me if I'm wrong, they sold their aircraft manufacturing wing, which is what they were known for. Unless I'm wrong, I'm happy to be corrected. But that's what I've heard. Nordstrom shut down operations in this country. Target did that. That was a while back. I think that was in 2015. Right? I don't see this. It's not a good thing that companies just shut down operations and leave. You have to incentivize economic activity for people to have decent standards of living. You can't keep restricting business. Lumber businesses are shutting down, Canadian companies shutting down Canadian operations, moving to the US because they have more favorable laws there. You already make them plant more than they can cut, which is fine, which is a good thing. For a minute, I'm going to say that, okay, it's all good. But why are you making it so difficult that they outright cannot do business? And you don't want to get rid of archaic laws like supply management. And then when the US administration comes and says, hey, you're putting us open up your market, you are scared because companies are not going to be able to compete. I think that is also not entirely true because people don't change brand preferences so quickly as is often believed. But fine, there are arguments on both sides. That okay, you let in US dairy companies. Yes, some Canadian companies will suffer. Maybe they should because they're not producing a quality product at a decent price point. Right? I hope I'm going to quickly go over the rest of this article and then I'll conclude today's talk because I promised about 30 minutes and I've already broken that promise by 5 minutes. So, you know, of course, most of our exports to the US are protected under CUSMA right now. I've already beaten that point many lives. So please go watch those. I want to point out to one statement quickly. Yeah. In the past, you could have the average vehicle price be around the high teens. That was maybe four, but now we are looking in the realm of 30,000, 35,000 for that same type of vehicle, which means they are rubbish. If you're having to pay more than 35K, or you're paying about 35K, and if it's not a goddamn Porsche, which is 5 years old, then you're just paying too much for a piece of trash. Dave Power, partner and national automotive sector leader at KPMG in Canada, said that one of the major factors influencing the price of new vehicles is that cars are getting bigger and there is more in them. Yes, cars are getting bigger, no doubt. I don't think, at least with the example that I used, I'm not sure how much bigger the Sonata has gotten. I'm pretty sure it has gotten bigger. I don't have any hardcore numbers, but yeah, they have more in them. Cars have always had more in them than the previous generation. Why is it that the same car costs 20% more in the US than 40% more in Canada? Exact same car, right? So I don't think this argument is complete. It is partially correct, but it's not complete, in my opinion. To afford higher prices, he said, some people are choosing to take on longer terms for leasing or financing even up to 8 years. That is entirely true. Although again, this is paraphrased here. So again, I'm assuming his words have meant something to this effect. I don't think people are choosing to take on longer terms. They don't have a choice because at the classic 60 months, the interest rate is 5%. If anyone's wondering what I was able to get my car at, it was at 1.7 something. Because I was a graduate of a US university. The credit union of that university, just because I was their graduate and I could prove it with my student card, student number and everything, they gave me a good goddamn deal. Because they encouraged me to have a car. It was not a sin to own a vehicle. That's why my first car is the only car I've ever had, because 6 years living in Canada, I still have to think about maybe I can afford this. I don't know. But when I look at these numbers, I'm like, oh God. So I don't have a choice. If I want the same car, exact same car, let's say I just want to do a switcheroo, I just want to swap it. Okay, let's do 72 months. This is 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, and the interest rate goes higher, which is fine. This is economics. I can't go against it. But I don't think anyone is doing this by choice. They just don't have a bloody option. If they want to reduce their monthly payment because they simply don't have enough to take home after paying tax after tax after tax, getting penalized for just owning a simple car, then they don't have a choice but to pay an exorbitant interest rate for a simple sedan, simple mid-size sedan. Anyways, guys, sorry, this became a little too ranty. Hopefully you find, let me know if you find this format more useful, where it's a little more interactive, where it's a little more, you know, where is it gone? Yeah. Let me know if you find this format more useful. It's more interactive. I'm showing you some calculations. The reason I like doing a live is, as I said, I think I said this in my very first live, that I just don't have time to edit. Like, it is what it is there. I'm gonna try and start making it, at least have one edited video once every 2 weeks, so that the quality improves. I'm gonna work on having better production quality, better lighting, etc. But till then, guys, hope you have a great rest of the day. Hope you have a great night's sleep if you're about to go to bed, or you have a great dinner if you're in West Coast. Chalo, till then, namaste, and have a great time. See you most likely. I'm gonna try and make Wednesday happen. So see you guys. Bye bye.